Alright. Guess who's back? Guess who we haven't watched the video of since a certain situation happened. If you know, you know. I mean, it's kind of everywhere. Then everybody moved on us. Yeah, we're watching some internet historian. Fancy with a 3, Oddities. This just came out, didn't it? Yeah, this just came out. I'm still waiting to see an update about their video game channel. What was it? Story mode? Fuck, I almost forgot what it's called. Because if they have any new videos on their video game one story mode, they're not showing up in my feed. But that's what I'm waiting on, because I love fucking story mode though. I don't want it to be abandoned. I fucking love story mode. But yeah, we're gonna watch the new one from Internet Historian. This is gonna be the first reaction we've did since the incident.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Oh, fucking NordVPN. It's always NordVPN. NordVPN really said, Internet Historian, marry NordVPN. Like they're engaged.
It's you.
Rude?
You've completed the crash course on theater and wine, have you? Feeling smug, are we? Deserving of love, perhaps? Worthy of eye contact? That's cute. But there's still a lot more work to be done. Look here.
I don't think I've watched all the story modes either, so...
Leather. This bag is made from the leather of real Italians.
Wait.
Not impressed? How about this fur coat? It's made from the wolf of Wall Street. An Xbox with the original PT demo still installed.
Not the... No.
A signed
Wait a
first
minute.
edition copy of Moby Dick with its little-known sequel, Moby Balls. And last but not least,
Really?
the squid from Squid Game. Don't you get it? Oddities. Weird stuff. I mean, the first section's on Perfume. Listen, I'm gonna level with you. I kind of got distracted, and we went off topic. I don't even know what this is about anymore. Here's my Netflix stand-up special. It should explain everything.
Fuck
That's going to be a
Netflix.
hard act to follow. That Kramer guy has some very good one-liners.
Just fuck
But
Netflix.
I've got some jokes lined up.
You're lucky if you get more than
Question.
1 or 2 seasons
Why is
of a show.
Perfume so expensive? Because you have to pay perfume. Why do they call it cologne? Have you ever smelt one of those? It ain't great. Oh? Mine must not be working. Deodorant? In this market? I'd want a deodor buy. Is this thing on? Okay, let me tell you the story of Perfume. See, to be fancy, people wanted to stink good, but people naturally stink bad. It's science. So in the beginning, people went to the garden to find the best-smelling things that they could. Here's a photo of the oldest perfume bottles ever found. And what's inside? Just garden stuff that smells nice. But we did not just stop at that, because the story of perfume is the story of progress. By the time Cleopatra came around, perfume science had really advanced.
Old Cleo
You see,
over here.
Cleopatra loved perfume. In fact, it was said that she had a whole perfume factory.
She'd be girl bossing through history. You know how it is.
But this factory wasn't just mashing flowers. They were using emulsifiers, adding resins, creating tinctures. Cleopatra's very own Chanel No. 1 contained cardamom, cinnamon, olive oil, and myrrh. So we've gone from garden to pantry. And she loved spritzing the stuff everywhere, supposedly even spraying it all over the sails of her ship. That way people could smell her from miles off as she sailed the Nile. By the early Middle Ages, we had figured out the formula for perfume. Effectively, there are three
Listen,
main
everybody
components.
back then smelled like shit.
Water,
We know it.
alcohol,
It was piss and
the most
shit
important bit,
and
the
dead
aromatic
bodies.
oils. And by the way, perfume and cologne are actually the same thing, but in different...
Like it was piss, shit, dead bodies. You were surrounded by it. You lived by it. You bathed in it. You drank it. Everybody smelled like piss, shit, dead bodies. So, yeah. That's why perfume exists. The end.
ratios of these ingredients. By the 1600s, they were trying all sorts of different things. Some things went well. Dude, pine. Pine. What about orange? I call it new car smell.
God. New
But
car
once global
smell.
trade opened up, our tastes became more exotic. Out of the pantry and into the petting zoo. For you see, it turns out that animals have been hoarding all of the most bestest perfume smells.
Oh
Yes.
no.
In the olden days, a bunch of manly men would brave very rough seas.
The manliest
in order
of
to pull
men's.
aboard sperm whales. Now, they would
After
cut
that
open
sperm,
digestive
the
tract
manliest of
and pluck
men's.
out a secretion of bile called ambergris, or in English, grey amber. Sometimes they would harvest the rest of the whale, but eventually ambergris became so valuable that it was simply more economical to dump the carcass back in the ocean and collect the next batch. Like when you kill a racehorse for its prize-winning jizz and then just leave it there on the tracks.
No, that's
All right, quick science lesson,
no.
eggheads. Ambergris comes from the gross part of the whale. And when the whale eats something quite sharp, let's say human bones, the ambergris forms around them and protects the lining of the gut. That's the ambergris' role. That way, as the sharp thing continues down the intestines, the whale doesn't get poked. But if ambergris comes from a whale's digestive tract, what does it smell like? Surely not good. When it's dry, it smells kind of woody and earthy, but when it's wet, it smells like ass. But it's not actually the smell that's the useful function. Ambergris is a fixative. So what it does is heighten and bring out the scent of other things. These flowers, they smell all right, but add some ambergris and, that's the
Oh
one.
my g-
Now, once they figured this out, they realized, there's a whole bunch of things we can use a fixative for. And they got quite gross with it. They added it to food. In fact, it was said that King Charles's favorite dish was ambergris on eggs.
Honestly,
They
it
didn't
doesn't
stop
surprise
there.
me.
They added it to
Because I'm
rum.
still not over the fact that, I don't know how long ago it was I first learned this, but I'm still not over it. The fact that fucking people with too much money and no sense, which apparently is a theme throughout the ages, but they would eat mummified body parts. Like, what the fuck? Like they would just put it on other foods. Like you over here, sometimes some people don't deserve to have money. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
They added it to coffee. They added it to cigarettes and smoked it. And they used it as an aphrodisiac. Now, some people will say that the whale is a mammal. But that's not strictly true. It is in fact a fish. Just look at the tail. And you may have also heard that there are a lot fewer of them these days, which, although a relief because their absence helps offset the sea level change, climate, whatever, we were worried that we might run out. So we said no more hunting whales for ambergris. But did that stop the perfumers? No. They immediately asked, hey, do you think there are any other animals that smell kind of weird? Yes. Turns out the musk deer has some potential. Now we hunt the male musk deer specifically because it has a particular gland called
The vampire
a
deer.
musk pod, which when dried out looks like this. and it uses
Lovely.
it to mark its territory and attract mates.
Lovely.
Now, don't worry. Unlike ambergris, this doesn't smell like ass. Instead, it smells like ammonia and piss.
Oh,
You just
well.
can't get a smell like that at
What
home.
an
So we
improvement.
started hunting them to the point where they were a protected species. So the authorities said, you have to find a different animal. So from there, they moved on to hyrax.
Extreme
species.
hunting over there.
One of the most feared and dangerous animals in all of Africa. And it was the inspiration for the original Lynx Africa smell. Now, their feces, when dried, is called hyracium, or Africa stone. But it's not just these ones, they have other stones in Africa. Come on, guys. Now, the smell is fairly similar to deer musk, but unlike the deer, the hyrax doesn't need to be killed or disturbed for their feces. They're just giving it away. In fact, hyrax even have a communal toilet, which is used for generations,
Lovely.
which makes it very easy to collect up all the good stuff. But it's not just the hyrax, I've got other animals. Remember those civets from the virus videos? Wait, don't wash that thing's anus. Mom, get the bottle.
Fuck's
Turns
sake.
out it's the anal gland of the civet that's actually the important smelling.
This is just making me realize how as the human race, why are we so nasty? Why? Like we see animal turds and we're like, profit. Like we legit thought we were something, huh? Top of the food chain, my ass. Literally, apparently.
Pet. Who's figuring this out? Why don't they use the good parts of the animal? It's the bacon part of the pig, you know? Anyway, it's the ass that produces all the delicious musk.
It smells like shit.
Right, but it must be good for something because it goes for $4,000 a kilo. But we ain't done yet. You know when you've just killed a beaver and you cut open its ripe abdomen? Well, the reason it smells
in
so
the
good
fucking-
is because of a little gland called the castor sac,
Listen.
which makes a yellowy scum-like substance called castoreum. And it is used to waterproof the beaver's fur coat and also mark its territory. It is also
I was not
very
expecting this
fragrant.
video to
And
be
you know
so-
what that means. If it smells, it sells. And in this case,
Nasty
castoreum is
and
more
murdery.
kind of leathery with smoky hints of vanilla. But unfortunately today, you're not allowed to
Which honestly, I
harvest the
should have
beaver.
known better.
They're walking around very smugly, just like the other protected animals. But you know what? We don't need them because we have a synthetic version of castoreum now, and it's just as good. And you know what? We've got a synthetic for the whale, the deer, and the civet now. And they're used in lots of mainstream perfumes. Modern day, we've got a synthetic version of practically everything. And even better, the advancement of synthetics has opened up a huge range of smells that were never possible to distill or
Beaver is one of
capture
the most
before.
hunted animal.
And the result
See,
is some very silly perfumes. You know that bacon bit of the pig? We got
saying that
now.
out loud don't even make
Windex
sense.
Smelling, pretty much anything you can think of, really, someone has created a fragrance of it.
Fucking hell.
In some instances, we're even beating nature herself. For example, you know those roses that you get at the florist? And then people go, these smell beautiful. But actually, those roses are not bred to smell good. They're so specialized for good looks, longevity, and disease resistance that they've practically altogether lost their smell. So
I
often what
remember
the
hearing
florist
about
will do
this.
is add an additional scent
We fucked
to
around
the
with
flower
nature so much
post-picking. And typically a synthetic rose
a lot
perfume
of,
is used because it lasts longer
flowers
and doesn't
lose
dry
their
out the
smell.
flower. Yep, we're just that good. And what's the future for perfumes? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is
It's more
gonna
shit,
involve
probably.
some comedy gold. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, my wife asked me for Chanel No. 5, and I was like, not right now. I'm watching the football. You know, on the
I can't.
television.
These
You know
fucking
what?
dad jokes
I am
over
gonna
here.
say it. If it's good enough for Kramer, it's good enough for me. Ad time. This
Of course.
Christmas,
Here we
she
go.
works in the big city.
Busy professional. My career, this
NordVPN,
and that.
internet
But
historian's
she's going
fiance
home
over
for
here.
Christmas.
Small
True
towns
love.
are the worst. I'm a big city career gal. Oh my god, are you okay?
I am now. And she's about to learn the meaning of Nordmas. The most VPNist time of year with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you go to NordVPN.com.
Seriously, you're seriously making a Christmas movie themed ad
Wi-Fi in all of
in April.
And once they use it, their private data will be exposed. Governor Craven's got this town by the baubles, and I can't believe that big city company you work for works with him.
Come on, we have to put up the Nordmas lights for the big Nordmas festival.
What? Let's go ice skating. What?
He's so cute, but I'm a city girl.
Girl, you sound like you're in love.
I thought I knew what Nordmas meant, but it means nothing without you.
It's like the end of March.
You know, it's
always Nordmas time of year with Nord's huge discount on a 2-year plan.
You know what?
URL.
Honestly, I can't believe that would have been an actual Christmas movie.
Now I love small town, and I'm in love with Nordman, but I can't leave behind big city Korea.
True love and a really good VPN don't come around too much. You gotta take a chance.
Boss, I don't care about making partner at the firm anymore. I've found my new home.
Big public Wi-Fi is spreading across the city. Nordmas will be ruined. Ho, ho, ho. Need a hand?
How are we gonna stop him, Nordman?
With this Nord-themed brick.
Nice.
I love you, Nordman.
And I love you, big city woman. Let's go home and watch the international Netflix catalog. It's a Nordmas miracle. Go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to get a huge deal on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus Nordmas months.
Oh
Ad's
my
over.
god.
You know, that ad makes me think about the time I nearly had a wife. Feels like a lifetime ago now. I was in Japan, living the digital nomad lifestyle. I had a startup selling seashells down by the seashore. But I broke the one rule of being a digital nomad. I got mad. Digitally. And that's when I saw her. It was love at first sight.
No.
I remember her laugh. Her touch. Every morning, breakfast in bed. But the truth was, I had no money. We couldn't live on love alone. So I left. I sought out to make my
cigarettes
fortune.
and the
I
monster.
tried so many things.
I actually think this sucks. I'm out.
Wow.
And I bet you're wondering how I finally
The cigarettes
struck
and the
it rich.
monster.
Well, truth is, I'm the guy
That's
who invented the Joe Rogan podcast. Once I became a gajillionaire, I went back to that beach to try and find her. But instead, I hit her with my boat.
the fucking hell.
We never found her
That took a
body.
turn.
But she had a secret. One she took to her grave that I was sworn not to tell. She's not around, so... Dude, she was a mermaid!
Oh my.
Come on, Chad, we're going to Japan! And here's where it all begins. In the year 2022. It's a Tuesday, probably. And local folklore researcher Hiroshi Kinoshita is looking up some fantastical animals in the National Yokai Dictionary. It's like the bestiary from Witcher, right? And he comes across a photo negative of a mermaid mummy. Oh my god, he says in Japanese. Upon seeing the mermaid, he knows that he must track it down. He must form a team. Researchers, assemble. So he gets together the best damn crew that he can from the University of Science and
There was a
Arts
plot,
at
Yuko?
the
There was a
Okayama
plot?
Prefecture. And he plans to track down the mermaid mummy, wherever it has escaped to. Now, it doesn't take him long to figure out that it's being held at the Inuin Temple in Asakuchi.
I
You
never know
the
what's
one.
going on
So he
in
struts up to the secret
an internet historian
and there
video.
at the back of the temple is a fireproof safe. And inside of that is an old wooden box. And inside the old wooden box was the mermaid. We found it! We found a real one! But where did it come from? Well, alongside the mermaid was a note that dated back from 1903, and it said, "A dried human fish, aka Ningo, was caught almost 300 years ago over in the seas of Tosa. It was then dried out and taken to Osaka. And from there, it was passed around to many different people until it arrived at the temple." Now, the Ningo have an important history in Japan, and sightings of these half-fish, half-human creatures have cropped up all across the country. Kinoshita himself had personally tracked down 13 of them all across Japan, usually kept in museums and temples. However, what you might not know is that traditionally they have been associated with bad omens.
Dun dun.
And everyone knows the infamous tale of Yao Bikuni. But I'll recite it to you just in case. So the story is that one day, a poor fisherman catches the biggest fish of his life. It was a strange-looking fish, and its head was almost human-like. But he brought the fish home and invited all of his friends and family to come over
Attack
for a feast
on
to celebrate
Titans.
his largest catch. You know, he's got his arms stretched out like this. He's
Dirt
like, it was
face,
this big. No, it was this big. I swear, it was this big. During dinner, one of the guests sneaks into the kitchen to see just how big it was. This big? I can't believe it. And he discovers that it is actually a Ningo. "Oh no," he says in perfect Japanese. And he quickly warns the other guests, "Don't eat it." And he warns them just in time. "Teishi," they've got their fork like right up to their mouth. "Teishi eating that. Teishi, don't do it." They throw all their food away. "Let's just have some rice and drink the night away." Okay, so they do. And they have a lovely evening.
They just don't even ask.
One very dishonorable guest decided to sneak a bit of the meat out of the trash and put it in his pocket.
Oh my god.
He then goes home drunk and falls asleep. He didn't eat it. But when he woke up the next morning, he checks his pockets and... no! The delicious fish piece is gone. Turns out, in the night, his daughter had been rummaging around in his pockets looking for treasure, and she found the meat from his pocket. And she was such a greedy guts that she decided to eat it then and there. The father was terrified for his daughter, but she didn't seem to be sick. "Do you feel weird at all?" And he's shaking her. He decided not to tell her anything. Maybe it'll all be okay. However, from that day forward, the daughter never aged. That's right. She remained a young adult forever. She eventually went on to marry, but as her husband got older, she stayed the same age. Eventually her father got old and died, and soon enough did her husband too. Everyone she ever knew was getting older and dying, but she remained the same age. She was immortal. Eventually, at age 120, she decided to shave her head and become a Japanese nun. She traveled the country planting trees as she went, and she did this for 800 years. But eventually, she grew tired.
I would too.
You know what? I'm tired of living. She entered a cave in her hometown of Obama. And she was determined to never come out again. She begged and prayed for the curse to end, but it never did. She sat in that cave for so long that she turned to stone. And today, at the Kuinji Temple in Obama, remains the cave that Yao Bikuni entered. People have been into that cave to check whether she's still in there, but nothing was found. However, a stone statue of her resides at the entrance. And colloquially, it is called the Barack Obama. So we're back with Hiroshi. He asked the Inuan temple if he could borrow the Ningo. Look, let me do a little CT scan on it, right? And they agreed. Hiroshi hands the Ningo to a team of scientists, and they get to work. They do their tests. Beep, beep, boop. Control plus scan.
Yeah,
on
this
the
seems
keyboard,
accurate.
and
Scientifically accurate
here
right
are the
here.
results.
It's stage 4 cancer.
That's not.
Sorry.
No,
No!
but
Stop!
really, turns out the Nino dates back to the 1800s. The note that said it was from the 1700s was wrong. Its body is made from cloth and cotton, wrapped in pufferfish skin. The tail was made from a croaker. I don't know what that is. Can we show that on the screen? With the mouth of a different fish and the hair of a mammal. And they can see that there's a metal nail in its back. Oh my god, it's invented tools. The forensic analysis and the construction materials in its back did cast some doubt over its authenticity. But you gotta believe in something, damn it. Aye. As promised, the Nino was returned to the N temple, where it still lives today. But where, oh where, did my mermaid go? It's her! You're back! You know what, I kind of missed you. And
Okay, what?
what the hell is that?
Daddy.
Oh my god.
You know what, I never did find her again. I think these things are a big myth.
Oh my god.
We're here on the ancient streets of Cairo, and there is our destination. In these triangles, the greatest luxury that all the elites crave. Oh, God, no, not that. The second most thing that mummies. You can find them in these
Oh, are we
tombs,
talking
and
about
there's
it?
only ever like one dude guarding them.
The thing
But
I already
before we
mentioned.
we must understand. Mummification started over 5,000 years
Are you gonna
ago,
mention the fact that they
and were
fucking
first
ate the
discovered
mummies?
by the Europeans in the 15th century. But the legend goes the locals knew about them even earlier than that. It's an elaborate process, but essentially you're drying the person out, turning them into a human salami. Alright, so when the Europeans found all these mummies, what do you think they did? Well, put it in a museum, right? Wrong. They used these mothers for everything, and everybody wanted them. What do you mean they used them for everything? Well, fancy people would take whole mummies and show them off to their friends at fancy dinners. To really show off the owner's wealth, they would sometimes unwrap them too. They were used as paint. They call this mummy
my
brown,
God.
by the way. They were used as
I
fertilizer.
love how you mentioned it,
Oh, man,
Yuko, right
talk
before the
about
video did.
Supercharging your soil.
They were even consumed.
Yeah, see, they were
No,
fucking.
not like this.
They
By
were-
grinding them up into powder
they were
and
fucking
taking
eating
them like
them.
a herbal supplement, which they called mumia. But with such high demand for your mum,
Nasty ass rich
after a
people.
while, they began to run out of stock. Uh-oh. They were becoming rarer and rarer to find. They were being gobbled off the face of the earth.
They be nasty,
So the
Yuko. They be
authorities
nasty. You
passed a
can't
bunch of
underestimate
laws
the
to protect mummies
people
from
with
becoming
too much money and no
altogether
sense.
extinct. These are the last two of their species, and they're both male, but they won't mate. No. But the mummy is much like the Tasmanian tiger. Every once in a while, one will just kinda show up and prove that they're not altogether extinct.
Open the door.
The year 2013. The location, Dyfels in northwest Germany.
Honestly,
We
the
are
rich
at
were
the
so bored
Kettler
back in the day
household, owned by
that
grandfather Kettler, who is now
everything
dead.
new
But
or
he had a son,
unknown
Lutz
and newly
Kettler.
discovered,
And Lutz Kettler also had a son.
they had to
Alexander
eat
Kettler.
it or
And
shove
they
it
are
up their
both here
ass.
at the house. After
Like,
a
that was
rainy day,
entertainment for
there
them.
was a leak in the roof. So 10-year-old Kettler gets up into the attic to explore. You know, have a bit of a look around. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Old antiques,
I love how we're on this and we started
photographs.
with Perfume.
and some old
Really
roof
did go
tiles.
off the rails,
Those
huh?
would be useful. So he goes over to the roof tiles and, behind them is something strange. A box. A mystery box. Now the kid is smart and he's
Oh, yeah, I
Jumanji,
remember
so he
hearing
knows
about
not
that
to
one.
touch the box and then
Like, the rich people doing the blood transfusion with young people thing. Like, the most recent one I heard was, like, the dad took the blood of his younger son, like his teenage son, And the ironic thing is a lot of people kept saying he looks older now after doing the blood transfusion. Like he looks worse. Fucking rich people, I can't. Got too much money and no sense.
Instead, go tell his dad. Now the dad drags the box into the center of the room. And he opens it. And inside, a smaller box. But it's very curious because it is covered in hieroglyphs. So Lutz crosses his fingers, hoping nothing supernatural will happen. And he opens the inner box. Inside is a mummy.
Dun, dun,
oh my god.
dun.
But there's more. There's also two smaller boxes. One contained a death mask, and the other a canopic jar. Alright, so he might have a dead body in the house now. So naturally, he calls the authorities. The police show up and ask some questions. Lutz then explains a little bit of backstory. He remembers that in the 1950s, his father went to Derna in Libya. There, he acquired
Honestly, that would be
chest and had it shipped back home.
the way I
He
wouldn't
remembers a
even
conversation
be in
about
the
it.
house
The
if I had
grandfather
found
Hitler
that.
insisted that it was a replica. Das ist ein Replika.
Like, I ain't gonna
Not
stand
a
around to
real
get cursed.
mummified person. Now, at this point, the police did not think it was a real body, but it was worth getting it scanned just in case. So he loaded it up in his station wagon, and off he went to the Berlin Archaeological Institute. Now, they agreed to do a scan, and so they're fiddling with buttons and dials and stuff, and
Very
it's fake,
scientific.
right? It's fake. Well, here's where things get a little more dramatic. Results inconclusive. There is a fully formed skeleton here. Now, that is unusual for a fake. Often a fake will just be shaped like a person, then filled with sticks and cloth and
No,
rubbish.
Yuko. I don't
However,
want
it
rich
got
people
even
food. I'm
stranger.
good
They found that
with
all
my
of the
cheap
bones were wrapped
takeout.
in some sort of metal plating or foil. Next, they looked at the skull, and that's where things were the most odd. It was very realistic. Its teeth had roots. Its form was more intricate than the typical fake. It also had a laurel, but even more notably, there was an arrowhead lodged in the eye socket. Now that is very unusual for a fake. Hold on, I got more evidence to do. So they're doing more tests and stuff. All right, we've carbon tested the linen wraps. What's the verdict? Well, those are from the 1900s. Now the plot is thickening. We have a supposed fake mummy, but with a very realistic skull, perhaps murdered by an arrow to the head and bandages that date to the modern day. That presents a new problem, because it's not unheard of for people to do a murder in the modern day and then cover things up by disguising the body as an ancient artifact. For example, in the year 2000, there was a man who claimed he found the
I've heard
mummy
of this
an
before.
ancient Persian princess, the daughter of Xerxes. However, when they examined the body, they found it was, in fact, a potential murder victim from 1996 who died from bludgeoning. All right, so the police now actually have to get involved, and it's about to get even more complicated. So they confiscate the body and they do their own tests, and the results this time say,
no.
nope, this thing is 2,000 years old. It's not fake at all. It's ancient. What? So eventually the experts all get together and go, okay, this is dumb. Let's take it to Eppendorf University and
this
have
is
it
so-
properly tested, and not just tested, crack the thing open
It's too
like
much.
a delicious Kinder Surprise.
Kinder
So this new set of
Surprise,
experts
shut up.
gets to work, and when they open up the mummy... Alright, remember how we said that the bones were covered in a special type of foil or metal plating? Well, it turns out the scientists didn't quite get that right. Instead, the bones were sprayed with a metallic chemical that prevented X-rays from going through. The bones were made from plastic. Or at least, the body was.
Oh
Turns
no.
out, the skull is real.
Oh
Yes,
no.
a real skull, and not from an ancient mummy, but from a 20th century man.
Oh,
However,
no.
it was not a murder. This skull is from a cadaver, and it was medically prepared for educational purposes. And what
How
about
the
that
hell?
arrowhead? Well, it turns out that that's from a children's toy. Someone just popped that in the eye socket. as a
Hi,
joke.
honey, I got
So
kids.
finally, the mystery was
The
solved.
fucking name.
It's just a plastic skeleton with a real dead guy's head put on it. Wait, how does that solve the mystery? Anyway, so Lutz was satisfied that the whole thing was fake and not a murder victim. Oh, let's put that back in the attic, he said very Germanly.
Germanly.
Eine Bitte? Was ist das? He says. Another box?
Oh, for fuck's
The
sake.
Book of the Dead? Well, that sounds like a fun read. So Lutz starts reading the ancient Egyptian out loud. Anaxunamun, Imhotep, Brendan Fraser. And what happened next will shock you.
Brendan
For a
Fraser.
very good thumbnail.
Not the goosebumps. Oh my god.
Hey there, champ. You're probably wondering why I'm out here on this park bench. Sometimes I just come to see the autumn leaves. Winter will be here soon. Dust in the wind. Truth is, sport, I have
you.
a highly contagious respiratory disease. I won't be around much longer. Dust in the wind.
No, for fuck's sake.
I'm like Willy Wonka from that movie. And you're like that ugly kid from the Willy Wonka movie.
Oh my
Who
god.
gets all his stuff. Or the Oompa Loompa. I don't know. I haven't seen it. The point is you're so close to being fancy. I can feel it. There's just one lesson left to learn. Anyway, speaking of ancient Egypt, here's this ancient Egyptian gun.
No, for fuck's
Franz
sake.
Ferdinand, what are you doing here? Of course, he's not the real Franz Ferdinand. He's a mummy. Now, the thing about the ancient Egyptian gun is that it's very sensitive. Uh-oh. I hit your congratulations for being somewhat fancy cake.
Oh god. I can't.
Come on, Mr.
I can't
Ferdinand.
with him.
We gotta clean this up before the Park Services Commission hears about this, and they make another complaint.
Another
Right,
complaint.
we're almost done with the series, and then it's back to the usual content. So in case you missed it, there's also Drinking on Incognito, a new story mode out next week. And if you like fancy,
A new story
that's great.
mode?
But if you don't like fancy, don't worry, it's not
Next
forever.
week.
Ooh, goodbye. Ooh.
Better not be teasing.
Don't
Better not be
forget
teasing about my story mode.
NordVPN.com/internet story. Huge deal on a 2-year plan. You'll love it.
Fucking marry NordVPN already, I swear to god. Yeah, they better not be teasing about a new fucking story mode. They better not be teasing. Ugh. I gotta stream next week now. Don't be coming at me like that. Don't be coming at me like that.